Greetings, viewers. We have a very nice pen from India here today. This is the Airmail model 71J. This is actually a fairly large pen. Here it is compared to a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan, and as you can see, it's quite a bit bigger than either of these pens. Got a nice amount of weight to it. Weighs 26 grams. A lot of that weight it's got a decent amount of metal besides this really nice resin finish. So the cap band is this gigantic oversized cap band that takes up I'd say about a third to a half of the length of the cap. On the cap band it says manufactured by Airmail Pen Company, and it has these nice ridges here. The clip is kind of like an ordinary, and I might say sort of undersized clip for a pen this size. It works well, but if you look at sort of the length of the cap versus the length of the clip, I think this clip just looks a little small, in my opinion. The finial on the top of the pen is this sort of metallic cone shape, which matches the finial on the end of the barrel. So the two ends of the pen sort of match. The material itself is this really attractive deep red resin. This is an eyedropper filled pen, but it does have this very, very nice, very functional ink window. So it's a sort of set of transparent slits set into the base material, and it really works well and can give you a really good sense of the level of the ink. So it's an eyedropper pen. You simply unscrew the section and dump a whole lot of ink in here, and this can hold a lot of ink because it's a big barrel, and you can just fill up the whole thing. The section is made out of the same material as the pen itself, which is always welcome. It's kind of a smallish section. These threads are very smooth and unobtrusive, so you'd have no problem holding it there. It's certainly a long enough pen to use unposted. I do like to post my pens, and I do post this. You might find back weighting issues on this because a lot of the weight is in the cap due to this metal jacket on the cap. So it does have a slight back weighted feel. Doesn't bother me, but if back weighting bothers you, it's certainly long enough to use unposted. And as you can see, this is a screw to uncap pen. It takes 1 3/4 turns to unscrew. The nib says special Airmail, tipped, and then says fine, and it has a little bit of scroll work. It's a smallish number 5-ish size nib, and it does have an ebonite feed, which is very, very, very nice. So all in all, a nice aesthetics on this pen. Looks great, has a nice feel to it. Like I said, I did leave one thing out. So it does have Airmail and registered, embossed in foil, metallic foil on the side of the barrel, which I think actually looks kind of nice. So anyway, aesthetically, I think this is a very, very nice pen. It's a fairly inexpensive pen, only cost $16. I got it from Fountain Pen Revolution in the US, which is a US company that sells Indian-made pens. I bought quite a few pens from them over the years, and this was one of those acquisitions, and it is a very, very nice pen, and they have a very good selection of pens at Fountain Pen Revolution, both some of their own branded pens as well as other brands from India, such as this Airmail pen. I think that's about all we'd have to say regarding the parts of this pen. But as we always said, pens were meant to write. So let's see how this pen writes right now. Okay, folks, what we're writing with here is an Airmail model 71J, and this has a fine steel nib, and this writes quite well. I'm actually quite pleased with this. It is smooth. It is pretty wet for a nib this fine. This definitely is on the finer side of fine, but it's laying down a nice wet line, which I definitely like. It is writing very, very well. It's definitely punching above its weight. This is writing better than a lot of much more expensive pens do, and I'm quite pleased with this. There is a very, very minute amount of line variation to be had, but I would not call this a flex pen by any means. Now, Fountain Pen Revolution does offer flex nibs, and I'll be showing you some of those in subsequent videos, but this is not one of them. This is a standard fine nib that they offer on this pen. So I think that about sums it up for this pen. Nice writing, nice looking, nice feeling pen. Very, very well priced, and I like it quite a bit. So let's talk about this ink a bit now, shall we? Okay, folks, this ink is Diamine Red Dragon. And this is an interesting ink. I really like this ink. It's a very interesting color. Is it red? Is it brown? What is it exactly? The answer, in my opinion, is it is both. So it's a reddish brown ink, and I think it really, really looks great. I love the look of this. Like I said, you could definitely put it in the brown family. You could definitely put it in the red family, and you wouldn't be wrong in either case. But it's just a great, great look to this. This is, again, a fine point pen, a very fine pen, in fact, but you should get a pretty good sense for what it looks like. This is on Rhodia paper. Let's take a quick look at what it looks like on Tomoe River paper. Okay, folks, what we've got here is, once again, Diamine Red Dragon. And this is on Tomoe River paper. And you will see, much like on the Rhodia paper, this is a relatively flat ink. And by a flat ink, I mean does not shade really much at all, at least on a nib with this width, and does not have any sort of shimmer, sheen, sparkle or anything like that. It is just a very, very attractive color that looks just looks really good, and is a nice little alternative to just sort of a plain sort of true red ink, or just a normal like chocolatey kind of brown ink. If you want something to mix it up a little bit, there you go. You could call this a brick red, and you wouldn't be totally wrong. There you go. Really, really nice ink. This is part of Diamine's normal product line. It's not one of like sort of the special editions or anything like that. So this is a popular ink that's readily available pretty much all over. Comes in various sizes, including these nice big 80 milliliter bottles. I think that might just about do it for this episode. As always, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Give me those thumbs up. Leave a comment or two if you like. And when you do subscribe, make sure you click that little bell icon so you get notified whenever I post a new video. You're definitely going to want to get that. So, as always, until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.